and I will just be doing a quick introduction of Respicase and of our panelists today. So let me just start by quickly sharing my screen. So just give me 2 seconds while I do that. Pankaj Sharma, President Lexicon Group, Mr. Neeraj Sharma, Vice Chairman Lexicon Group, Mrs. Monisha Sharma, Director Lexicon, Mrs. Deepti Sharma, Director Lexicon, Mr. Nasir Sheikh, CEO Lexicon Group of Institutes, and Shreya Sharma, CEO and founder Respicase. A very warm welcome to our esteemed panelists and all our lovely audience. Welcome everyone to Respicase's panel discussion on future of crypto in India and laws around it. Before we begin, I would request you all to watch a small video about Respicase.
Welcome to Rest the Case, one-stop solution for all legal services and information. We are a legal aggregator platform connecting lawyers and clients. Finding legal help has never been easier. Just sign in and find a lawyer you want. You can filter lawyers by location, specialization, and even PIN code. All the lawyers on our websites are verified. Talk to lawyers immediately if they are online, and if not, book an appointment. We understand that legal matters are confidential, and that is why all information on the website is encrypted. Not sure about the process or having some trouble getting in touch with a lawyer? We have got your back. Just mail us at info@restthecase.com. Legal drafting can be time-consuming and a tricky business, but we have you covered. Get numerous documents templates to choose from. You just need to select a document template, fill in the details, and download your document. It's just that simple. Believe it or not, that is not the only thing we have to offer. Rest the Case also has an extensive legal library. Browse through our legal tips, book reviews, daily legal news updates, and a lot more. Why go anywhere else when you can get everything in one place? Rest the Case. Your one legal.
Thank you for watching the video. We will be adding a link of our website in the comment section. You can check our website post the event. Before we move ahead, I would request all the speakers to only unmute themselves when they are speaking. This will ensure that the person speaking at that moment can be heard clearly. We will address audience questions in the end. I request the audience to type their questions in the comment box. I would now like to introduce our panelists. We begin with Mr. Raj Kapoor. Mr. Raj Kapoor is the founder and chairman of India Blockchain Alliance, the largest emerging technology tech think tank. He has helped organize India's biggest blockchain and cryptocurrency events across major cities. He's also selected this year as the top cryptocurrency and blockchain influencer by Asian Market. Next, we have Mrs. Ankita Sambyal. Ankita Sambyal is a legal professional with a demonstrated history of almost a decade in the legal and technology industry. With keeping core interest and expertise in the crypto and blockchain industry, Ms. Ankita has been the motivation towards many startups in Singapore who have been able to achieve great heights because of her pro bono legal initiatives to make them legally empowered. Next, we have Mr. Rachit Kumar Srivastav. Mr. Rachit has over 12 years of dispute and corporate advisory expertise in corporate commercial laws and has been particularly active in joint ventures defending white-collar clients and blockchain technology. He's known for his business acumen coupled with extensive experience in adversarial matters concerning domestic as well as international companies and investors doing business in India. He's a member of the Supreme Court Bar Association and Delhi High Court Bar Association. And now for the main event, I will hand it over to Shweta. Over to you, Shweta.
Thank you, Rachna. Good evening, everyone. I'll start with introducing myself. I'm Shweta Singh. I am the content analyst at Rest the Case. I'll be moderating today's session. Usually, I'm the one who's behind the screen, but my team has put me up here, doing the job I can totally nail. So, uh, out of my nervousness, I apologize. Before I do that, please do not mind me if I call Raj Kapoor sir as Ranveer Kapoor, maybe. I'm so sorry. It is a very bad one to start with, but here we go. We'll introduce our topic. It is cryptocurrencies and the laws around it. The finance world in this last decade has been taken by storm with latest reforms in technology. The cryptocurrency has become a modern day equivalent to the future of money. But with its growing acceptance in the market, we have arrived at a time where the regulations are much talked about. Although with a lot of push and pull, there seems to be a chance of significant development in legislation around digital currencies in near future. So let's begin with the discussion. I would like to address my first question to Raj Kapoor sir. Let's start with the bare basic. What is the if you could just quickly tell our audience what is cryptocurrency and what's the buzz around it? So you're on mute. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so cryptocurrency is nothing but a bunch of code. There's nothing. There's no coin. There's no note. There's no currency around. It's just a code. It's a perception. What I always say. You can call it a coin. You can call it any damn thing you like. You can call it a token. At the end of the day, it's nothing but code. That's first thing. But it's a brilliant use case of the blockchain, and that's how it really came about. It actually embodies what blockchain stands for. Blockchain, I can call it the highway, and the crypto is a brilliant use case of the blockchain. That's the first thing we should know. And it's not interchangeable. A lot of people call it interchangeable, but that's all bullshit. It's not. There are so many other use cases, of course, but this was the first, and that's why everybody remembers. It's like the first mover. Everybody knows Neil Armstrong, and nobody knows who was the next astronaut who stepped on the moon. Everyone remembers the first guy in. So Bitcoin came in, and what is it? It's your perception of what a currency could be. It is an inter-community currency, so to speak. It was a reward-based system taken out by Satoshi Nakamoto, who, by the way, is not real anyways. He's also a mythical character. We can get into that some other day. But basically, crypto is a whole bunch of code with programmed instructions, how, when, what, where, why it can do, and for whom it can do. That's in a very simple layman's language. I won't get into the technical aspect of it. I make coins myself for a living, by the way. I've created 76 different coins and tokens, but I won't get into that aspect. That's the fun aspect of it. So crypto is it embodies trust, traceability, anonymity. If you take it in the positive way, it is a brilliant discovery. It actually would set for the ball rolling for the blockchain. So I would call cryptocurrency, something of, I went into it for myself as a speculation, but blockchain is the actual revolution. So it's the speculative aspect of blockchain.
That's an interesting perspective. So not something that we generally get to hear about it. So if you could just quickly run us through what are the possible benefits of cryptocurrencies and the possible shortcomings that will get along when we adapt.
I'm doing 12 government projects. If you ask me this question, you'll get me banned from 12 projects, 12 government projects, that's for sure. Anyway, I would say let's look at cryptocurrency in isolation. It's actually a fantastic alternative. It's given us a whole new way of tokenization of an economy. You can tokenize economies like this. Why do we have to only look at fiat currency? Let's face it. Today, fiat currency is really not backed by anything. We're just printing notes. Sorry, the government might not agree with me or either way, but I know for a fact they do that. Everybody does that. The Americans started it after 2008. They set the trend. We are just following it up. So it creates great economies, a great case in point. And I'm going to tell you this, and I would like everybody to have a look at this website. And I'm very proud of this, having set that up also, along with the United Nations, etc., is a project called the Rohingyas Project. That actually exemplifies and embodies what it is all about. The Rohingyas are a displaced community with no identity, and we use the blockchain platform, but more important, we made a community coin called the R coin. And the R coin is a token basically used within the community. And if you see and trace it for the last 1.5 years, it's been going on at different levels, and it has brought about prosperity within the community. That's a very small case study of what actually a Bitcoin or a crypto or a token can actually do. It can build economies. It has a socio-economic impact. Use it correctly. It's also there for speculation. I'm not saying you don't speculate. You want to do it, you can have that. But I would rather have my take on it always would be towards the usefulness of it, the impact of it. It's more so the social economic impact. That's for no reason it's called a frontier. Blockchain is called a frontier technology. This is one of the soldiers of a frontier technology.
That's really a fair take. Okay, moving on to a little legal side of the. So I'll direct my next question to Ankita Sambyal. Ma'am, in the foreseen future, what are the laws expected to be around blockchain? Would act like PDP, IT law, cyber law, or IP, or any possible laws around it?
Thank you, Shweta, for asking me this question, and thank you for calling me on this panel discussion. As explained by Mr. Raj, blockchain technology has disrupted and has been to disrupt lot of industry or variations of industry in the world. Be it it's a data management, be it it's a supply chain management, be it it's mobility services, banking or financing services, accounting, trade settlements, then healthcare, then we can talk about insurance industry, life science, land records, etc., etc., etc. So now we can see that this technology has taken a very dominant place in everybody's life, and it is going to revolve more. So it is not unstoppable. But when we talk about technology and law, as such in India specifically, I'll talk about India, we don't have any specific law which describes how this technology will run. So when we check all the use cases or we check the functioning of blockchain technology, the most and prominent question arises with the storage of data. So IT law falls or data protection law falls and other different regulations will fall whenever any dispute arises. For example, if I talk about blockchain technology, the future is of smart contracts. Smart contracts is what? It's something contract written in form of a logarithm. But when we have a dispute arise in a court with regard to any contract which has been signed with two parties who are using the blockchain technology or a platform for their product, then definitely that will be questioned, right? So if we talk about presently, there's no as such different laws available, but we have other regulations under which we can regulate the technology.
Right, fair. Speaking of regulation, my next question is for you, Rajat sir. You're a dispute lawyer, so the question is somewhere on these lines. How are disputes in this vertical expected to be addressed in the future?
So, Shweta, thank you for having me here. But I don't think there's any complication in answering this question because, see, once you, these are digital assets. And if you talk about how disputes in relation to digital assets will be regulated in future, maybe the answer is in the question itself. If you consider it as an asset, just like any other asset that we deal with, it will be dealt with in the same way. So say, for example, there will be a requirement of amending certain laws, maybe RBI regulations and IPC or property laws, where we recognize that these are asset class. This is an asset class. And just like the way you deal with any dispute regarding your property, the same way this will be dealt with.
Right. So I see there's a need of classifying it. Like I think
exactly.
It's classified cryptocurrency as a property. So the gains out of it, I think Singapore has categorized as business income. So there's a distinct categorization that is needed to, I think, set out its law around it, or whatever that is going to be surrounded around it, right?
Exactly. So once we classify this crypto digital assets as property, the answer is very simple. The way you deal with other properties, disputes in relation to digital assets will be dealt in the same way. Yeah. Just a certain modifications will be required.
Right. Great. So I'll yes,
So
ma'am.
I'll just add to what Rachit said. So, that's true. The moment the classification is identified, whether it's in a asset or a capital gain, or it's a business income, or it's a property, or a ledger, legal ledger, the moment the things will evolve and under the classification, all the laws related to that asset or to that commodity or any what stage we give under this classification, the changes will happen in pre-existing laws. So the definitions will change, the way how it is to be dealt is to be changed. But yes, as what Rachit said, the moment the classification is identified, it will be very simpler and it is very logical that it will be covered under that particular regulation.
Right. So yeah, inclusion is anticipated in many of the existing laws,
Correct.
which makes sense. All right. So my next question is for you, Raj. So it is with the recent statements by the ministry, it is clear that the government is open towards accepting the technology that is blockchain. How can this how can this benefit the blockchain industry in India, the startups that are growing around it?
Yeah, well,
As an-
startups. Let's talk about the government first. You know that the government took out a document. It does this little circus every 2 years, banning it, getting it back on place. It's fun, all right. We enjoy that. We enjoy the drama. We enjoy the suspense. It's good. It also means a lot of people ship their monies outside also, which is another byproduct of what we do. Anyways, coming back, how does it benefit? It benefits everybody. Let's put it very seriously. Let's proceed the government. The government has got 90 plus projects on the blockchain as we speak today in 14 states. I'm working in 12 of them, so I know the 12 of them, and there are 2, 3 others. Plus, we are doing another one recently. Tomorrow, yesterday, we signed in Karnataka for putting another one of the health services there. Now, healthcare, land registry, e-governance, these are going to be the major beneficiaries. Supply chain, these are the maximum number of projects going on there. Some have started, some are in proof of concepts, some are in a project stage, all happening. That's one. Second, there are a lot of startups now in India now which are getting a lot of eyeballs internationally from VCs, investors, etc. I work with something close to about 70 different startups and accelerators in the nation, in Israel, Europe, United States, Canada. Now, what we are seeing is an influx of not only of funding, we're also seeing them being funded through coin. Indian startups have started taking coin offerings, which is a new phenomenon. We never had that a year or so back. Everybody said, I can't spend the coin in McDonald's. Sure, you can't, but you can. There are so many other usages. That's what's happening. Hashtag. There are so many. There is another PKVCs. I'm actually heading a fund now called PKVC in India, which is actually funding only blockchain startups. And that's PKVC, by the way, stands for painkiller, vitamin, or cure. It depends what your solution, your startup does. So that's PKVC, by the way. So startups are going to benefit, yes. Also, what's happening is the data sanctity is protected beautifully with the blockchain. It's decentralized, it's distributed, it's immutable. These three aspects make it something of a phenomena which everybody's trying to see what the hell happened, man. Why did we miss the bus? Or are we going to miss the bus? Or do we take the bus? Startups and the young millennials are taking the bus. They are actually adopting it big time. In fact, the fintech market, which is another part of the DLT network, so to speak, India is poised to become the largest fintech hub anywhere in the world in the next 3 years. That's a big take. Talking about all these things, yes, everybody's benefiting. There is going to be more traceability, transparency. I don't know whether some may like it, some won't. They say one man's meat is another man's poison. So while a lot of people, a lot of knowledgeable people will appreciate the benefits blockchain will bring, and blockchain is not just an information technology, it's an institutional technology. It has the power to institutionalize, it has the power to reward, it has the power to become tokenized. Others don't have it. So I think it's going to be beneficial for you, me, Rachit, Ankita, and everybody listening in. And even rest the case. You should have all verified lawyers on the blockchain.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing you should do.
I've
done that, buddy, so I'm happy to do it for you as well.
So one question.
Just Shweta, sorry, just to add to what Raj said. So Raj, a very interesting thing that government in regard to blockchain and the use case of blockchain minus the cryptocurrencies. Okay, the very interesting use case that is coming up that I see, I'm sure you might be working on some of those, that the open source electricity distribution network.
Yes.
That is being put on blockchain. That is a perfect use case.
Very good use
I mean,
case.
there was so much slippage in
Yes.
the industry on
Absolutely.
from the accounting perspective, but I mean, it's wonderful to see how this is.
I agree. But the most interesting one, you know, Rachit and Ankita and everybody listening in, is something which the government is doing itself right now, which I can share in terms of a concept. Who's doing it, I will share maybe later on, maybe another platform. Actually, we are creating, the data is now going to become sovereign. We are creating on a blockchain a 3-layered protocol which is creating data within our nation. Our data will not be with Facebook, Alibaba, Amazon, and all those guys. That's great. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It's been there, but that's always a risk. It's not sovereign. Sovereignty of data is going to be something which is going to be the next wave inside this. And that's we're doing a proof of concept for one government agency, and that works out well. We'll pan it out across the nation. That's going to be a big game changer.
The government puts it well in one sentence in one of its paper. Data is the new oil.
Data is the new oil.
Government recognizes.
Because they say that because oil, by the way, even oil is limited. Gold is limited. Coal is limited. Data is infinite. It's not limited. Every day you'll get data. You'll never get oil, gold, diamonds every day. You'll get data every day. That's right, Raj.
I'm sure it's very fascinating to see how blockchain and cryptocurrency as a concept, and then all of this is coming into play in India, as in the fintech market as it is. You see, it's growing quite well, and India has developed a lot, and especially the entrepreneurs. I've been advising at least 7 of such projects to set up operations in India and globally. So
most of them
one of them,
unfortunately, most are going global. That's the unfortunate part because of the crypto aspect not being clear. Yeah, I'm sure you agree with me, even if you're not going to say it.
No. So I advise a little differently to my clients on that, because absence of laws also gives you a playground to play.
The problem becomes then if suddenly there is a law, what happens if it goes against them? That's their problem. That's their only little bit of thing in the head.
That may be a mental block, but have faith in your government. Maybe they will, like the FM says, that we will leave certain window. Even when we put in place the laws, we will leave a window where you can work around things. And then that is where we will come into picture. Ankita and I will help our clients be compliant with the laws.
Good. You'll get a lot of referrals from my side. Don't worry, a lot of them.
Thank you, Raj. I'll just add to Rachit and Mr. Raj what they have spoke right now. So the basic understanding we need to have to dig it in the history itself. Right now we are in an internet age, and everything is involved around the internet now. So the technology will always advance. So the main problem what we are facing is the timing or a gap which has been created. The technology is growing really fast, but the regulations, the government or the administrative side, it's a bit slow because they're trying to understand it. And people have crossed the line of understanding. Now they are at a stage of testing it. So from the government perspective, I think there's a lag in the speed and understanding and education. But if we see recently, the government has played a very important role. You can go and check out the websites. They have also introduced the concept of regulatory sandbox. We are also trying to, taking care or pitching our views on what are the flaws in the regulatory sandbox or what is not. Further, when we talk about a lot of startups industry, because we have a first, I'll not say the first, but one of its own kind of startup legal incubator, legal and tech incubator, basically. So when we take people in that incubation, we work with their legal strategy and how they're going to work, whether it's international or national. And one thing I just really need to add is cryptocurrency is one of the use case on the blockchain. It is not the technology. It is the economy which is evolving on that technology. So now,
yeah, that's tokenomics.
yes, that's total economics. So when we talk about the legal aspect or the regulators, yes, there are delays. We agree that we really need to jump in really fast, because till the time the Indian government specifically jump into it, there will be another version of technology altogether. So I think what we are lacking is the timing.
Right.
We're also, yeah, I'll add to that. We're also lacking the people who sit in the committee have no idea really of what is crypto and blockchain. I'm
That's
telling
why
you.
education is very important.
So, I'm very open about saying it. I mean, it's nothing wrong because it's never there in our subject books years back. So nobody really learned it. So I don't blame them. But the saying is, I think the government needs to have more people who are from the space, from a legal perspective, from an implementation tech perspective. All people should be there, professionals who know that, who should actually be drafting this policy, the first draft. And unfortunately, the guys who are there, most of them are dinosaurs. They don't know. I mean, in the crypto age, they're dinosaurs. I'm sorry, but I do actually say what things or what I see it. So I'm also. So Rajat is finding he's encountered some dinosaurs for sure in his life. All right, coming back, yes, this is a very
let's not be sorry. So let's not be so harsh on these guys, because you have to also understand the fact these are the guys in their lifetime they have graduated from typewriters to computers, and then now from you expect them to jump from computers to now cryptocurrencies. So it's a lot of expectation.
That's all right. I'm 59. I'm 59, and I've seen phones with the big dial thing, and I'm still enjoying cryptocurrency more than anybody else. I'm enjoying this space. You have to adapt and change. You got to make that change within. If you don't make that, then why are you sitting in the committee? Say, excuse yourself and say, guys, I'm out. That's my take. Most of the guys are pretty useless. Some are very nice. Some are good. And unfortunately, we need lots more of the good people inside. That's my opinion.
Okay, solution could be that we really need all the people from all the sectors sit together, whether it's legislators, whether it's administrators, whether it's industry, tech industry, different kinds of industry, they're expert minds who have been in this technology all together since ages, and then draft something. So now this is not an individual effort, it is a collaborative effort to be taken, and sooner we have to get on some track or in a queue where we can start regulating and giving people space to develop more so that the growth can happen.
We need to have a financial action task force, actually. It's there outside. It's not in India. It's out in the US and other. It's there. They come out and take out all the beautiful reports, which so far haven't entered our mainstream as yet. They should be good reference points. But yes, I think it's a step in the right direction. At least we have a committee examining some. Let's take a positive from there. I would always say let's take the positives. There are always going to be both sides, so I'll take the positive.
So speaking of positives, I'm positive about it too, because this has been a phenomenon all over the world. So there are issues that keep developing and law keeps catching up, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
100%. We will do that. It's a question. At least we have a start.
Yes.
It's a fascinating take, honestly, to hear this from you guys. I think the delay in regulation can potentially be our opportunity cost. So I want to ask Rajat sir this question, because you were talking about how we have to give them the time to understand the technology. So I think the next question fits this very beautifully. Is there a need for digital asset at this time, considering the digital divide and digital illiteracy that is prevalent in India? Is India technology ready?
So, Shweta, in the history of humankind, assets have been evolving all throughout. As in, it's maybe started with a system of barter, and then so people were storing assets in exchange of goods that they could exchange. And then it evolved, then certain precious metals replaced them. Amber also came into being as an asset. And then maybe it was surprising for me to know even aluminium was considered as a precious metal at the time. All right, so these are properties then came into being, then securities like we popularly know them as shares, they also became an asset. So I'll not delve more into it. You could check maybe section 2 of the Income Tax Act to define this asset. But digital assets, yes, I would say there is no right or wrong time for it. And it is still developing as an asset class. I would say also, maybe to conclude this, since I'm taking your question in parts. So need it or not, I would say I'm a firm believer in the philosophy that no one can stop the idea whose time has come. So it is the time for digital assets, and the time is here.
Absolutely, sir.
Also, now the second part of your question, I think uh, illiteracy and digital divide. I don't know why. Why would you say that there is a digital divide? As
So,
in, as we speak, as
banking
we
system
speak.
has, I'm so sorry you cut you off. Just to get some clarity, the banking system that has existed here for quite a bit, we still see, we've still witnessed some compromises and people being scammed, and it's because people have not been educated enough, and with a technology which is so fairly new. I'm a firm believer of future of cryptocurrency, but this is generally the question, the kind of questions I come across. Is India ready for it? We are still struggling with understanding and adapting to the technology. If not the urban side of it, if not there's still some lag
We,
there.
If
I
Rajat
mean,
allows, I
we
can
as a,
answer that part.
let me answer and then please add to it. So as we speak, there are about 80 crore Indians using internet. Look at major giants like Amazon and homegrown Flipkart, now backed by Walmart, betting on India and the use of Indians of the internet. So, and see, one another example, 2016, the demonetization happened. Government gave us 3 months to switch from our existing notes to the newer notes and then push us towards digital economy. We adapted all of it so well. So, and also the UPI. I mean, 280 crore UPI transactions happening almost every month. If you look at the facts, 5 trillion worth of rupees are being transacted every month. Google has also made a suggestion of what Indians, what we developed UPI in India, Americans should adopt it too as a maybe real-time payment option. So a lot of things India is adapting well, and I don't think there is any digital divide. If you throw it at us, we'll adopt it soon.
Beautiful. Ma'am, you had some.
Facts, they speak for themselves.
Okay, so I'll
And
just add to it. Um, what Rachit said is rightly conveyed, but I have a very different perspective towards looking towards the whether India is there or ready for tech side or not. I think India was, it should not be was. India is always ready, and the creation comes from India. Zero creation came from India. You know, the entire economics came from India. So if we see back the history, we are already beyond the thinking of other nations, and we are doing really well in that. Talking about the tech side, I don't know about the other industries, but whenever we talk about any car or automobile industry, or for that matter textile industry, we can see that US or UK market is dominating in that. So you can check the the charts of the positioning of the companies. But when we talk about tech, then tech is number 1 or 2 in the chart list. So again, Infosys, Wipro, Tata, these are such tech companies which have made their position number 1 in the world, and they're dominating it. So we cannot say that India is not a tech ready country, or we are still struggling with it. No, if we would have been struggling with it, the kind of contribution which goes to cryptocurrency GDP, I'll say that, is maximum from India. And the recent report after during this pandemic, whether you pick Coinbase, whether you take CoinDCX, WazirX, all the exchange platforms, they have officially made a statement that they have seen 1400% increase where the females are contributing in the cryptocurrency. So now I think everyone is taking cryptocurrency as one of the securities for themselves, especially the females. Females are the people who always invest in gold, right? Because they feel very secured with it, not even the property. But if females are coming up, and if you see the age groups, it's very surprising. The age groups from 18 to 35 is maximum, and then for 45, then the ratios goes on. So and what we have seen in Kabul and Afghanistan after this war, how they have invested their money in cryptocurrency, which is helping them to relocate in other locations. So now I think with the evolution and adaptation by the public within themselves, it has also become a security for them. So it's not, we are not ready. We are very much ready. We are very ahead. It's only that we need a proper box where we have to put things in place. If you take US, you take UK, that for that matter, why to go far? Singapore and Dubai, they have a system which goes and people work as per to that system. How what Raj said is correct from that perspective, that we have brilliant minds within ourselves. We have all the resources within ourselves. It's only we have to identify and put it on the platform and make it more easy and fast way, so that the things can move properly in a right direction.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. I think a little support, a little pat from the government and regulation can really help us to streamline everything and get going with it. Uh, with that, I have my next question for you, Ankita, ma'am. With so many speculations floating around, are we expecting to get some clarity over taxation or say legal status, IPR? I mean, are we expecting any clarity over this anytime soon? What are the what will be the position of crypto holders and traders in the near future?
So expecting it very soon will be a very underlined statement to make, because there are a lot of factors. Whenever a regulation is deciding any law, there are a lot of factors to be looked in. And if you talk about tax, what Rachit mentioned, the moment it will be classified under some subject matter, it will, we have to make those changes in that particular regulation, and it will start forming, right? It's not like people are not filing their tax on crypto trading and all. They are still doing, they're doing under the capital gain. They're still trying to figure it out. It's only that again and again, I'll just say one thing, we need a proper guideline, how we have to react on it, how we have to regulate it, or how we have to, save ourselves from getting into a fraudulent transaction. So it's only, I think the time will tell. The government has definitely, what Raj said, it is a circus. Every time we are listening new guidelines or other statements coming from other departments, regulators, government is saying something else, the regulators are saying something else. And the biggest contribution is all the people who are interpreting it. So last, I think day before yesterday, it was SEBI made a ban on certain things. But the kind it is being portrayed is that you cannot, give advice on the cryptocurrency, or you cannot advise on this thing. So, the interpretation also goes from individual to individual or to group. So, whenever I suggest my clients, I always say that go to the government official websites, download their notifications from there, and then interpret that. Don't put your interpretation on the speculations which are going in the market, because this is one of the unregulated aspect of the economic industry what we are facing right now. So, okay, another thing which I would like to add is when it comes to IP law, it comes to IT law or data protection, still we have to figure out certain things. But one thing we can do right now, because there's opaque sector, so we can watch how the other countries are working, how they're protecting their data, what mechanism they are following. Recently, Canada has already announced their act, which is CPPA, and they have already made a declaration, sorry, not a declaration, but a notification is out that by December 2022, everything will be followed as per to that act. So till then, the people who are existing in this industry, they can make those changes. So that space is given to the industry so that they can make changes as per to that law. So we also expect that thing from the government or the legislators, that they give that space to our industries too, and so that they can change themselves as per to whatever they're planning to regulate in future. But one more thing is there's a lot of speculation, like cryptocurrency will be banned or something is banned. Government is going to take stringent. Please go to the official statements of the government and then work. So that will be the only thing I feel that is required right.
I think just also maybe as a suggestion, uh, any government would be there are only maybe 4 or 5 things where government should be concerned of regulating, accepting cryptocurrencies. Okay, so there may be one, money laundering, where you have to regulate and where you have to put in steps to regulate all that money laundering. Then there is terrorism financing. You should also think of investor protection, where you can apply laws. And then obviously the fourth thing is how the government would earn out of it, as in taxing it, making fiscal laws around it. So there be all in all, the whole issue you can divide it into 4 parts, where you have to understand how to put KYC, AML, and all these aspects into place, make laws around it, and then protect your investors, your citizens, that they should not lose money, and then put in some laws around the tax. How do you want to tax and earn revenue out of it for the government? So that would be that can be a starting point where you can start putting in laws. And other than that, obviously, I think RBI should come up with some really good sandbox, because the sandbox that we spoke about earlier, Ankita was speaking about earlier, fintech. There's a small carve out where they have mentioned that nothing, no one dealing in virtual assets or digital cryptocurrencies will be allowed to apply for this sandbox.
Right.
So there has to be a sandbox for development in this area.
Absolutely. So a blanket ban is really not. We've learned our lesson that really that's not the way out for us.
And one
This
more
is
thing
the
that I
point.
would like to add is, oh sorry, I interrupted Mr. Raj in this.
Please carry on. Ankita,
Okay.
after you.
Okay, thank you. It's see, you need we all need to understand one thing. When we are regulating cryptocurrency, we can only regulate it when till the time it is in the exchange form, or I should say, it is on the platform of blockchain. So the ownership is very important. How what that ownership will take to what, that is very important. So when we are regulating cryptocurrency, we have to what Rachit said. Yes, there are certain laws, but again, the SEBI comes into picture. There's FEMA which comes into picture. Then remittance comes into picture, because again, we are signatory to a lot of agreements and international policies. So taking the only thing which will be advice from my side to people who are trading in cryptocurrency is, there is a risk factor involved into it. So whenever you are trading into it, be aware of the factors or the fraudulent things or the companies, because there are 110 companies right now available in the market who are doing the exchange, and many of them are being identified by the RBI, SEBI, and they have been fined and their license has been cancelled. So it's only opinion and advice that all the people who are investing into cryptocurrency should be cautious enough when they're investing and on what platform they're investing.
right.
I'll pick up your 2 words from what you said, Ankita. You said be aware. When you put them together, you also becomes beware. So one of the key things, and I think everything what we said is very relevant. However, one very key thing which we generally miss always, all of us, I used to do the same thing, is creating that awareness. No one, and I mean no one, is creating awareness. The government should create awareness. We should, experts should create awareness for the government officials to make them understand the value from a perspective of policy, not just what is blockchain, what is crypto. That definition is time a dozen. Awareness creation. I mean, just like we had some time back, Beti Bachao Andolan, or anything which is at a national level. I always believe that we should have that. If we're going to have a CBDC at some point, let's start with that as a starting point. The central bank digital currency is a great way to start things, and then it percolates down to the last common denominator, and that's what's needed. Otherwise, it's like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. He's playing the flute, that's crypto, and everybody follows. You ask somebody, who the hell, how many currencies are there? Most people don't really know. They just know Bitcoin, Ethereum, 5, 6, 8, 10. That's about it. There are more than 1,000.
1,000.
I'm till 76 for God's sake myself. So I know that. There are more than 1,000. And why, when, how many exchanges are there? 350, 400. That's why there's a huge crush. Everybody going to the exchanges. Exchanges making money. Also the reason why so many accounts are being blacklisted and banned now.
Correct.
No awareness. Awareness is missing. In a nation such as large as ours, we need to first have our building blocks in place. The first block, as we say, the Genesis block should be awareness. That is missing completely. So that I think, add on to what everybody has been saying, I add that bit, build in the awareness. We can have a beautiful awareness series. Maybe Rest the Case can start the awareness series.
Absolutely. So we would love to do that. And it is even
Right. So
Yes.
even for investments in fiat, even for investments in shares, even for investments in mutual funds, there are awareness, there are maybe a cautionary line before that or after the advertisement. Why not have it around cryptocurrencies?
Absolutely.
And it's obviously then the user's money. Wherever user wants, they can invest.
Yes.
No one's stopping them, but there can be an awareness around it.
And now, for example, there is some attempt, although it's a very subliminal attempt. I don't think it's an actual attempt. You've got Amitabh Bachchan propagating crypto for one of the exchanges. Come on,
Right.
for God's sake, let him create the awareness first. Though
Yes.
Boon Tika and all that is more than what he should be doing as a brand ambassador. He's my favorite actor still, no doubt. But awareness is what he should be saying first. I'll create the awareness. Maybe they will start thinking, because they've come in for a lot of flack, and maybe they will get into that aspect. Let's see how it goes. If that does, it'll be mass appeal, because he has mass appeal. So I hope he does that. I hope there are more people who are from this industry, from any industry, can create awareness where we are. That I think Rajat is right there. We have for mutual funds. We see so many ads. You see the IPL and you see mutual fund ads, cricketers propagating mutual funds. Great idea. Nothing wrong with it. Perfect. How about the crypto space now? Create the awareness. Then let the person decide whether it's good or bad for him. It's just like any other asset or any other investment or any other speculation. Horse racing has been going on for years. People still put their money on horses. Come on, this is a little better bet than horse racing.
Right.
Rightly said by Mr. Raj. You can see last 15 days, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan just promoted NFT first. And then with that, Salman Khan comes into and he promotes NFT. But when we talk about NFT, my inbox is filled with the question how NFT is going to protect the intellectual property. Should we invest into it or not? What is this new concept altogether? So, again, it's even on the shoulder of such people who are, a public figure, it also comes a burden on them to first educate and then do a promotion to it. So I think that promotions can be done by under the Startup India, which already there's a platform made by the government. The people should join hands and come. And a lot of people are trying from the legal fraternity also to educate people. So I think, yes, everyone has to come collaboratively. They have to extend their hands, educate people, and explain how the execution takes place and what is the result of that execution.
Right.
Absolutely. I think under the right set of regulations and guidelines, guidance from the government, cryptocurrencies can effectively change the dynamics in the market today. I think it's time. We've had a lot of questions coming from our audience. We will now look at and address some questions from our audience. The first one is for you, Raj sir. How is the data being kept by the government better than data being hoarded by corporate? Shouldn't I be able to keep this?
Sorry, I lost you in transition there. There was a lot of disturbance. Please repeat.
I'll repeat. How is the data being kept by the government better than data being hoarded by the corporate? Shouldn't I be able to keep this?
Why don't? Yes, of course you should keep your data. Now, nobody's hoarding data. First of all, let's get that clear. Nobody's hoarding data. Data is generated. You got to store it somewhere. It's not hoarding. It's storage. Yeah.
Right.
If you're going to earn tons of cash, you're going to store it somewhere. You're not hoarding it. You're keeping it somewhere. Let's keep that hoarding aspect out. Data is going to be generated now. Right now, the big four big tech firms, they're the ones who really have most of our data. The Facebooks, the Googles, the Amazons, the Alibabas, they have our data. It's not the government doesn't have it. Even the government data is stored there. Who says the government data is stored? Any data in the cloud? Does India have its own cloud? No, we don't have our own cloud. So where is the data stored? The data is stored in some cloud or the other, and of course, in domestic local data on servers. But it's always a good idea to have sovereign data, and that's what I've been propagating for the last 3 years. And that, thank God, somebody in the government listened now and said, yes, it is time now. And that sovereignty of data, whether it's yours, mine, everybody should be there. We should be able to protect our data. You and I have the right as consumers to be in control of our data. Let's take the big boys, all the big startups, all the unicorns. They're making money on our data, right? That's fine. It's a good business strategy. I'm not against it. The bottom line is, if it's your data, are you being paid for it? Nothing. You're getting it free, happily, yes. Who's making money? Someone else, a billion times over. So we should have the control of the data. Yes, to get blockchain enables a permission. It's like a key. You have a private key. You decide whether you should share your data or not. So that sharing is going to be there. It's going to be your prerogative in the future. Very huge projects are there where data is protected, where the consumer has the choice of sharing or not. That's one part. Storage, you've got to store it somewhere. And why not sovereign data? That's the solution we are preparing now for India. Atmanirbhar India, whatever you want to call it, I call it Satya. We are calling it Satya.
That definitely
Satya. That's the project. Project Satya.
I especially like the right to forget that's there in our bill. So we've taken most of it from the GDPR that is already there in place. So our current bill is based around that. And my personal favorite is right to forget. And I would like to press that button a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, blockchain doesn't let you forget. Everything is stored for life. That's the first one. Any more questions?
Sure. So the next question is for you, Rachit sir. How can DeFi be regulated? What challenges will it pose to banking regulations?
So DeFi is basically a peer-to-peer network, so which allows you a lot of products around it. Regulation, I'm not so government. Right now, DeFi is lacking. The only beauty of DeFi is that there is no KYC at the moment. A lot of people are embracing it for that. And the moment I think KYC comes into DeFi as well, I think regulations will come in place. But current users of crypto and current users of the technology will have to give away something in order to have it legitimized.
It's linked, I would say, like a chicken and egg situation. So both are pretty much linked together.
Right. Well put.
Ma'am, if you can address, how do you see the blockchain technology affecting arbitration procedures?
I'll answer.
You
can ask Rachit, you can answer the first part. I'll just add one part to it.
No, please go on. I think I missed it. I thought that question was for Ankita and not for me.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Ankita, all yours.
All yours.
Okay. Okay. When we see one thing, we need to understand whether it's DeFi or how we have to protect our data. Yes, GDPR is something which we are looking forward. We have our PDP bill also pending in the cabinet, and it will be soon out. Protection of data is the responsibility of the collector. So they have to match certain specific standards to save the data. And I'm not saying that data can be protected 100%. No, but you have to create those standards in your organization or in your system, which will preserve this data from hacking and fraudulently being used. Right, whatever we are seeing nowadays, what is happening with the big whales like Facebook or Twitter or any other platforms, right? It's all the leakage of data. Now the government has also thrown another aspect is the open banking system. After how the UPI has worked during the this pandemic, so there are a lot of things which are coming up. So right now, the only way to protect this is how strong your contracts agreements are there. Once your contracts agreements are there, And as per to the law of the land, you get a space of negotiating certain clauses, right? How you are going to protect yourself, whether it comes from the aspect of IP, whether it comes from the aspect of data, whether it comes from the aspect of what you have to fulfill in your own jurisdiction. So arbitration, yes, we can. I'm very. I like this. I'm a firm believer of this arbitration, because now I think the face is going to change. People will start, taking arbitration passage more than court. So court will be the last ultimate thing which happens. But yes, mediation, arbitrations are going to change the sphere of this legal industry. And the only thing which will help the arbitrators or or the clients who are getting into it is the proper structuring of your contract, the proper understanding of your jurisdiction you are working in, the understanding of the laws you internationally. And if you have certain projects where the government is a signatory, then you have to go through all the provisions and clauses into it.
Absolutely.
So I think that could be the only, platform where we can negotiate and we can, save our own personal interest and the interest of the people who are there. So, for example, the Google has made a statement already. You have to inculcate in your terms and conditions certain clauses which will protect the data, or there are certain companies, because again, you are using this platform from promoting your apps, developing your apps. So they expect a normal standard of protection from every individual as well as the companies and the software developers to maintain it, so that everyone can be protected in certain ways. And I think now Rachit will be better person to answer about the arbitration aspect, how it's going to work for the big giants or individuals who are going to opt for it.
So, Shweta, pardon me, because I would ask you to please repeat the question. Sorry for the technical glitches from my end that I couldn't hear it that time. And if that question was for me.
So the question was, how do you see the blockchain technology affecting arbitration process?
Affecting arbitration process, or maybe coming in aid of arbitration processes. So this is not going to disrupt anything that is existing. It is going to only aid them. And if you talk about any disputes that may be there in use of blockchain technology, so like we have smart contracts, I think we'll not have arbitrations based on this.
Right.
You have a set of contracts, either yes or no. Okay, decided. There is no room for individual interpretation of the contracts.
Yes, sir.
So that would eliminate any dispute.
Absolutely. So I have a very interesting question for Raj sir. Some countries like Venezuela launched its own state currency like Petro, which is backed by the price of oil, not in their local currency. Would you think our government should look at some alternative like this, which while launching CBDC, I think they're referring to stable coins.
Yes, so see, India is a very large country, and unlike Venezuela, I mean, Venezuela is also large, nothing that, but it has a different economics. It is more from the valuation perspective. I don't think we need our own. We need a currency like the CBDC, maybe yes, because that will bring in a lot of the unbanked population. Also, one of the things I said, the religion is divided anymore. He's got to bring in more of the unbanked people inside. We don't need it to be. It's already backed by a CBDC. Is already backed by the RBI. So why do we need another alternative? Yes, there are many other people looking at other stable coins, etc. That's fine. The USDC is one, so that's fine. But that's just an option. We don't need two of the options. We're already in India pretty confused about so many options. Let's keep it relaxed. Let's keep it easy for the time being, at least. Maybe my next generation can take that.
Shweta, can I, me being an audience also listening to Raj Kapoor so interestingly and to Ankita Sambyal, I have one question from the industry veteran that what do you see CBDC is set to do?
What the CBDC
is it set to replace private? Is it set to replace cryptocurrencies?
I'll give you a very diplomatic. I'll give you a diplomatic answer to this because it's on record. Okay, the CBDC basically is threatened by the Bitcoin in its own way. And it feels that if it takes out the CBDC, then it has a reason probably to say or put some scriptures around Bitcoin. That's one. A second thing, what is attempting the CBDC basically, I worked on the Nigeria CBDC extensively, which was actually to be launched on 1st October, but it's just got delayed by another few because there is some more testing to be done. The three aims which it really wanted to do, and I think the same things is what the RBI is trying to do, at least I hope that's what they're trying to do in December when they launch their first pilot, is one, have a lot of the unbanked population start using the CBDC as a way of transacting business and trade or regular trade. The second is, of course, the regular guys like you and me who are part of the, we are in the middle of the pyramid there. We're not down there, we're not up there, we're right here. And for them to use more CBDC, get another option to pay, that's one part. But what's really critical and important about CBDC is CBDC coin can be programmed. Now, example, and on a smart contract, for example, we talk about smart contracts, it can be programmed for a specific purpose. And that I think is making the difference. For example, if somebody is applied an MSME, for example, they apply for a loan to pick up certain machinery. And only for that, the CBDC coin can be actually programmed only for that loan. Otherwise, I know in Haryana, for example, I had a friend of mine, he got a loan, next day he had an Audi in his backyard. All right. I said, how did it happen? Hey, bank loan de diya. All right, great going, guys. I enjoyed the ride in the Audi, so I'm not complaining. Fine, but that's what CBDC is actually getting into the space where you can program currency for specific use cases. That's going to be a good start. There are many others. Maybe I can talk to you offline on that, definitely. I can talk CBDC all my life. I'm working there for the last 2 years with Nigerian government, which incidentally is far ahead of our government as far as taking decisions and understanding, which is what I keep telling them. Why can't we do it? I'm an Indian. I want to do it for India. Come on, let me do it, guys. Let me help you. I'm not charging you guys. Come on. Anyway, but the CBDC has, of course, a lot of immense benefits which come along with it. It's got a lot of challenges as well, including a lot of legal challenges, which will come to you. And they'll come to me and I'll say, yeah, don't ask me. I'll give you an answer, but I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose it the way, I can't put a stamp on it. So you guys will put the stamp on it. Yes. But the CBDC is programmable money.
Tell me something, I heard it somewhere. So you can program CBDCs to know where exactly they are. So say, for example, if I have a CBDC and somehow it goes to someone, maybe some wanted criminal, and so it can track a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, basically, if I have CBDC and I spend it on buying some software from, say, Dubai, and from there it gets actually, if it has links, you're in trouble. Yes, you're going to answer the same way you do it right now. But yes, it is more traceable and trackable, that's for sure. It doesn't have any chips inside, but because it's on the blockchain, it uses the principle of how you track a supply chain. It's the same thing. It's not going to be much different. So it's basically,
so
the downside in India is we don't have smart contract developers. We don't have very good smart contract developers. And that could be the fatal flaw, I would call that. If you don't do it well, not forget the pilot, the whole project will fail. That's not what we programmed to be done. We're trying our level best to have the right people. Let's see how it goes. I'll answer your
In fact, that is what I heard about EU1. So whosoever holds EU1, the government knows where it is and whose account is it sitting in.
It was like that. It was like the rumor which was started during demonetization that all the 2,000 rupees have a little chip inside it, so you can track it.
Yes.
Rumor started. So it's something like that coming true almost in another way. Also, they have to create the CBDC if they have to put a not halt, if they have to modify the way they approach crypto. That's the interesting thing which we have to see. How it's going to be done. We all have lots of advice, yes, but how it's actually going to be done, that's yet to be seen. That they haven't thought through. That hasn't been thought through.
I'll just add to Mr. Raj on what he spoke. What I'm going to say, it's not because of my profession, it's my personal observation and that I keep to myself. But it's all the game of decentralized and centralized. CBDC is one of the examples of how the centralized system is going to be opted by the Indian government or any other governments in the world, and how to track where the money is floating and from where it is coming and for what is being floating. So again, when anyone doesn't see that they have a space, because blockchain is decentralized concept, but still in that, how we can create different use cases for CBDCs or any other. Even we have both kind of systems in blockchain, private blockchain and a public blockchain. Private blockchain can be made as per to your whims, how you want to create it and for what you want to create it, and what all you data you want to put in. But the point here is, now there is a war of centralized and decentralized. There are a lot of people who are not understanding it, how it's going to result. It's only that they just want to compete with each other. But ultimately, the net result will be in the hands of the consumers and the public at large, and what they put their trust in. Whether it's a cryptocurrency private run by private people, it's going to be the government CBDCs. After witnessing like what Shweta said, the people have changed their mindsets after seeing what banking system have done to people's individual lives by fraud, creating 110 things, right? But I don't say that the private side doesn't carry that fear. It's there equally, but it's on the public at large where they're going to put their trust. So every time what I pitch in is, let's cryptocurrency and the CBDC concept be on the floor. Let the public choose what they want to invest in. Because I think we have very smart public now who knows what is right and what is
Even
wrong.
that choice, Ankita, I know what the public is going to choose. I'm not saying it. I know what they're going to choose. I would do the same thing myself. I mean, I made money in it. I'm not made money with the government right now. I made money in the other side of it. So I'll do that. Anyway, yes, you're right. People have a choice. Awareness is the key again. You create the awareness. Let people decide. They're educated people. They can decide what they'd like to do.
Yes, it's only the barter system is coming back. Peer-to-peer relations are coming back. Earlier, we used to give coins and we used to get ration. If you see the history back, and there were no intermediaries in between to cut certain percentage. Now people are believing in again and again the peer. If I want to give it, my coin directly with the same value to Raj, why I should pay it to somebody else? That's my hard-earned money which I have converted into a cryptocurrency or any other form of asset. So I think the faith and belief and trust, that also plays a very major role, to decide the fate of any industry or the changes which is about to come.
I mean, there are so many use cases of blockchain and the cryptocurrency, and the way it has. I'm no expert in how cryptocurrency is changing the world, but what I hear is in Africa, where the currency, their own fiat and their own government-backed currency is so unstable that today, if you're earning, say, for example, in INR terms, you earn a lakh of rupees. Today, it buys you something, and tomorrow, it being so unstable, tomorrow, next month, it might buy you half of that what you're buying today. So the currency is so unstable out there that it has become absolutely relevant for people to convert it into something which is growing and is more stable than their own government currency.
Yes, Zimbabwe is a classic
Right?
example. Zimbabwe is a classic
Zimbabwe
example.
is a classic example.
And Nigeria is doing it
You
now.
get a burger for millions of Zimbabwean dollars.
Exactly.
So
It was
that is how unstable the
devaluation. Yeah. So you're right. It's a person who gets a choice will opt for the better choice, obviously, and that's right.
That may not be a problem with us Indians, but look at how this is solving problems globally.
It is.
Right.
Right. And obviously, last thing, in fact, this I would like to put as a suggestion: when we could take cues from all over the world in drafting our own constitution, why can't we do that to
Absolutely.
drafting regulation around cryptocurrency? Look at Singapore, look at Dubai, look at jurisdictions. I mean, US has put in a way to categorize this, providing crypto to tax the exchanges. They have put it as a service. Okay, you're providing a service to the investor. You pay a service tax. Investor is getting a capital gains from investing into cryptocurrencies. Government is always earning out of it. Think of something. Come up with some solution, not ban it. Banning is not a solution to anything.
In fact,
And I think I'll have to rest my case here.
No, you don't. I'll take up. I'll not make you rest now. I'll take up one more thing. In US, for example, I don't know how many of you know. Many towns, smaller towns, have created their own community coin. Texas, for example, also says you can pay taxes through crypto. I mean, they are moving now. They're not scared. They're not scared of legislation. They're convinced that it's there. It's becoming mainstream. Community coins are becoming common. You know, I've created a community coin for a university in the United States, for that matter, for one in South America, for one in Nicosia. It's big. People trust their communities. It's now all about communities. It's blockchain without borders now, and that's what's important. That's Bitcoin without borders or blockchain without borders. That is the reality, whether we like it or not. And yes, it is a very big hedge against inflation on their own fiat currency. So why the hell wouldn't I use it if I had to? If I have a choice, I will do that. And that's not it's a Bitcoin, for example, is not backed by my own nation. It's backed by a huge community from across everywhere. So I take my chances there. It's growing, and I can see that happening. My currency, for example, in Zimbabwe, he would say is hemorrhaging every day. Why the hell would I do that? You take out whatever you like. I'll still go for the Bitcoins and peer-to-peer transactions. That's the key. Cross-border.
Just to add a little to what Raj said. So currency is nothing but a community of believers. What makes anything a currency? So say, for example, if I have this pen here, and I say, okay, this pen is worth so and so, and you want it, and if you believe it, you'll buy it for it. That it becomes a currency, and you can trade it around. Same is the concept with cryptocurrencies. There's a community of believers. Now, if we talk, the community of believers, you believe
the NFT is just that. What is people $69 million? What the hell was that? Okay, you will say, what is this? But people believe in it. Somebody bought it. Somebody actually bought it. It's a proof of concept. Somebody can buy something for that price. That's what you believe in. Look at the Mona Lisa. Somebody will say, hey, what is this painting? I won't buy it for $50. Somebody will pay $50 million for it. It's all perception. Money is perception. It's the value what you believe.
And the concept is the same as you believe in any religion. You believe in X God. There's a community of believers.
Right. And yes, it's also like our fees. When I ask for my fees, it depends whether you feel I'm worth that price. You pay me, that's perception. You believe that my fees should be that much. And now you pay the damn price, guys. Otherwise, don't ask me free questions. I keep telling my guys nowadays, so it's all perception. It's about the value you feel. It's a person, object, thing, scenario. It's all perception. Shweta.
That's great. I mean, thank you for sharing your perspectives. As we're approaching towards the end of this session, I'd like to quote a beautiful quote that I had come across. Crypto can do to banks what internet had done to information. So that's potentially our future. With this, we conclude our discussion. And I must say it was a very insightful session. I got to learn a lot myself. And I'll now invite Shreya Sharma, CEO of Rest the Case, to take over and propose the vote of thanks. Shreya?
Hi, good evening. So I just want to begin by saying that I have learned so much today. There is so much information that I got, and I think this has been one of the most fun panel discussions I've been a part of, because everyone had so much to say and so much for us to all learn. So on behalf of our team, I would like to thank all the panelists for taking our time from their busy schedules to be here. It was immensely insightful, and it has given us a fresh perspective of cryptocurrencies. I would like to thank Shweta Singh for moderating the discussion, and the Rest of the Case team for being the backbone during the discussion, because while Shweta was talking here, there was a lot of stuff happening on the back end as well. So thank you to them as well. A big thank you to all the dignitaries for gracing us with their presence in today's event and their never-ending support with all our endeavors. Thank you to our audience. Thank you for all your questions. This event would not have been the same without you all. We love for you to look at our website. The link is in the comment section. We hope to see you all for all the other events that Rest the Case has in the future. We have a lot of them. We put all our heart in them, and we would really hope to see you again. Once again, thank you all for being a part of today's panel discussion. Stay safe, healthy, and have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you for having us all here.
Thank you, Shreya.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. See you, Raj. See you, Ankita.
See you.
Let's connect whenever we can also. Anyways, take care. All of you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, Shweta. Bye. Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you.